Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Fong, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Well, I've been in my books. I got a good lesson for you coming up. I'm feeling good. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving them. The numbers is good. I appreciate you. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life, and that's what it is. Through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. I got everything you need to make that happen for you. All you got to do is tune in and get the message, implement them, and know thyself. So that's why I'm here to do that for you. So I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, don't worry about it. Tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. So a person who knows not and knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. That's what I do for you with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my be true. I'm still in the book. We still got some more stuff breaking down how to use your force. Right thinkers, let's talk about stories and examples of those who shown what mastery of the cosmic forces, aka the force. But then we're gonna do a little story about the Star Wars. They used the life force energy. Luke used the force, and George Lucas tell you he got the concept from us. So he ain't ashamed. Let him know where he got it from. I ain't mad at that. Let's go. So there are, and there is ancient Egyptian. There's the ancient Egyptian parable. Okay, that illustrates what is this? Some important aspects of this teaching that relates to what? The cosmic forces. Remember when Moses went to the Pharaoh and he threw a stick down and turned into a serpent. And then they threw his stick down and turned two serpents. His stick ate their stick. So that was all, again, supposed to be magic and power. So everybody know how to use the force to a degree. That's what I'm trying to show you. Watch this. So, and those are they call them magic, the magicians. Okay, dark magician. The ancient Adic parable, it illustrates some important aspects of these teachings related to the cosmic forces and their control over them. This is a comedic story of the Old Kingdom period and the most ancient period of the dynastic era. This is the beginning. Okay, this is how long it go back. There once was a story about a king who was bored, okay, and he had a harem. Men has always had this fascination with a bunch of women. I don't subscribe to that. When I was young, yeah, but I'm becoming a little wiser, so I don't subscribe to that, so that ain't my thing. But every king had a bunch of women. Moving on, I ain't going there. I ain't gonna let that go. I'm letting them get that by. Moving on, I don't subscribe to that. That different philosophy. And one of his ladies said, why don't you take a boat ride and we'll play music for you as we sail down the Nile. Okay, they're gonna take a trip down the Nile. This is the Nile River, longest one in history, and we will have a great time. If you're the king, okay, I'm the pimp. You got 5 or 6, so you let them speak their piece. So this was probably to me that, okay, he getting his game going good and they're going to go out. Okay, he said, excellent idea, bottom line. So let's go. So he gets in the boat. They went sailing down the Nile. And he's a bad man. Why? The women are doing the rowing. And all the ladies were playing music and they were relaxed and it was unbelievably calm. If you go to Egypt, you can just see it happening. Why? You can sail just as they used in the ancient times. Now, all of a sudden, one of the ladies stopped rowing. What happened? 1 second. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And they only rowed. She stopped rowing. And what's that? What happened? And then the rest of them stopped rowing. So the boat stopped. And the king asked, "What's going on?" Oh, that was Hood. No, we ain't going there. I ain't doing that. Why have we stopped? What the what? Yeah. And the lady said, "I lost a great jewel that you had given me." You know how we feel about that jewelry. Shooting that jewelry. Oh, hell about to break loose, right? It fell overboard. Oh, okay. In the river, in the water, in the Nile, off the boat. I don't see it. I don't know what happened to it. Then the king called one of his ministers, a priest. Again, he was the magic man. He had powers to see if he could do anything about this problem. He said to the minister, "One of my wives have lost the jewel that I've given her, and she's very upset." Really? Okay, we go with that. All right. And all the ladies are very upset, and they have started rowing. All right. And my whole wonderful day has been turned into a nightmare. Can you do anything? So then the minister said, "All right, I do my best that I can." Then he goes and looks overboard, and then he utters some words of power. Heka. Remember words of power? We get in there. Stay with me, I'm going to pass to tell you. Words of power, and all of a sudden, you ready? The Nile River stopped flowing. Furthermore, the waters started to what? Part from the middle. The water from one side of the river rose up, went on top of the other side, and there was a parting of the Nile. Remember, I told you before I started this parable, the story, this is one of the first. This is ancient. This sounds familiar. No, if you hear something that's original, and then you like young people, y'all hear mix, yeah, and then when you hear the original, oh, they stole from social. No, that's the original. Y'all stole it from them. So understand where I'm going with this. Hold on, we going there. We gonna get there. And the Nile River parted, and so the priest got out of the boat and started walking on the bottom of the Nile. Sesame the meal, eat your heart out. And he saw the jewel where it had fallen on the floor, on the ground. And he went and picked it up. And he returned to the boat. The priest uttered some more words of power. And what? The water came back into the Nile again, and they started flowing down the river again. And the ladies, what? Started rowing, and everything was fine from then on. And this story, of course, comes thousands of years where before what? The parting of the sea in the Bible, myth of Exodus. And you hear what they just said? You hear what you just said? The myth in the Bible of Exodus. You know what the myth is? A story. Okay? A philosophical concept to educate you. Let that marinate. Okay. Moving on. Now let's talk about my man, George Lucas. Now what I'm trying to get you to understand is that the fantastic feats are possible if what? The cosmic forces can what? Be controlled and work in your favor and harnessed. This includes, you ready? Feats such as flying through the air. Michael Jordan did that. Making rain. The Indians, they knew that the clouds, if it was clouds, they can make it rain. If any cloud in the sky, you can't make water come out of what? Clouds got the moisture. So it was all understanding at the time. So don't get caught. They knew just what they was doing. Okay? Now, causing earthquakes. Again, scientifically certain good things going on, and the people study and understand it. We don't know when they're gonna break out. And you got storms, etc. This is all natural phenomena, apocalyptic situations. When it happens, you don't know it, it's gonna destroy everything. And the psychic powers, watch this, and powers to control the forces of nature and such. Recall the movie, George Lucas, here we go, Star Wars, where he took up this theme of life force energy, Yoda, residing in the universe that sustains all life. Yoda was the last Jedi warrior. We knew that the Jedi warrior was what? Well established in what he knew himself. He knew the force. I love that. And watch this, in which the ancient Egyptians called Sekhem. We know about it. Serpent power. Kundalini. We knew that. And we called it the force, or Iri, or Iraq, where special individuals can what? Harness the forces of nature. Again, this is where he gets it from, or he got it from. He told it, and this is where the idea comes from. Again, we started it, and he admitted such. Much respect. It came from the ancient sage who discovered these forces and developed spiritual disciplines to discover and develop and how to use them. If you were able to know the principles, those are gods and goddesses, every aspect, and know them and become what? You become one with them. That's what I've been doing. And then you perpetuate what? Them in a proper way, the right way, positive, not that man Aleister Crowley, the negative way. What y'all doing now? They got a bunch of demon worshippers now, and they all follow Aleister Crowley. He was the original. You could harness their powers too. Yeah. You could perform strange feats, controlling outer forces of nature, or you can control and manipulate the inner forces, the subtle forces that are even more powerful and potentially more destructive to the human personality. You ready? Egoism. That's the force that you don't want. That's Darth Vader. Okay, and he had to fight his father. They changed the story, but it was his father. And our original story is his uncle. Same thing. Okay, but at least he admitted the way you got the concept. That's my point about the force. I got a little more to go. Now, when we do that, we should also not neglect that the subtle aspect of the myth, it's all myth, is related to what? The power of inner peace, aka Hotep, that leads to enlightenment. When the Pharaoh became bored, it was what? His ego, or they use his girl, making his mind agitated. And he had given away the jewel, which what represents the goal, the inner peace of what? Self-knowledge. The highest knowledge as human beings we can obtain is not summa cum laude, Oxford and nonsense degrees. No, self-knowledge. You ain't got to go to school to get that. The ladies are what? Ladies represent the movement on the water of life, who bring what? Solace, harmony, and pleasure, desires, but also progress on the waters, means movement, the boat size motion. But that cannot work for long. Why? If the jewel is lost, to find the jewel, it is necessary. Here we get tricky. Pay attention. It's necessary to what? Stop the movement, meaning the water had to be stopped. And the sage knew how to do that conceptually. Stop the water and the endless action of what? Your futile pursuits in life. Stop chasing material stuff. The jewel represents material. And they'll do everything they could what? To get materialistic stuff. Long enough to what? Learn and utter the words of power that what? That'll turn your mind towards now the goal, which is what? The jewel. Okay? And more importantly, the divine. Then the separation of what? Material and spiritual. Yin, yang, okay? As above, so below. With that material, the opposite of life, the water must be cleared away again in order to what? See. When the water is moving like that, it's hard. But when the water is clear, see, you can see straight to the bottom. Gave that concept too. Now, but in order to see the way to the goal, I mean, water had to be moved. And watch this. Having we got materials, okay, see the goal. Okay, now having attained the goal, the jewel, the movement of life now may what? Continue with what? A higher perspective and a higher vision and a masterful dominion over one's own life. Stop chasing material stuff. Stop putting everything in and understand it's more to life than materialistic things. That's the concept. Now let's get down here. I got a few more minutes. Now is a certain period of time that goes by in history, which we call cyclical. That means it's going over and over, keeping time. But now in different periods of history, you have different philosophies, great months, and the cosmic forces are sometimes more or sometimes less accessible. Dependent. They said the dark ages. That means wasn't no knowledge being spread around. So they call it the dark ages. No light, no information, no knowledge. Right now, we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the information age. You got knowledge. Well, all of it ain't good, but you got information like we never had before. Understand that. That's the difference in where we are now, pretty much in technology. Now, it was easier or harder to harness them, but they can be harnessed. And it was harnessed in any period, just it wasn't spread like it is now. However, the harnessing of the cosmic forces, knowledge of self, spiritual knowledge, truth that you can live by, and for the principles, and for the purpose of what? Performing psychic feats is neither necessary nor a prerequisite for what? Obtaining spiritual knowledge, self-knowledge, the highest goal of life. Right there. That should be a pin dropper, but I got some more for you. I ain't done. But that's the whole point. Gaining self-knowledge. Why? Well, self-knowledge? No, that means you need to know thyself. Thy is God. See, you missed a lot of stuff because the symbology behind it and the metaphysical concept, a lot of people don't get it. They just, you didn't know that yet. No, that covers a whole bunch of area I'm trying to show you. It's a vast area to knowing yourself. Let's go. Where we at now? And just because you know the cosmic forces, I know the elements, I know about this, I know about that, don't know jack. Okay, that does not mean that you have full control over yourself or those forces that you claim to know about. I have mastery over them. Can you say that? I spend a lot of time learning and manifesting so I can tell you just what to do and how to do it. That's why I'm here. You're probably out there. If you want to hate on what I'm doing, knock yourself out. I'm welcome. Appreciate the view. Now, you can obtain that control over oneself. That's my point. But that has to be worked on. That's your job. That's the effort that you put in. The more effort in, the better results out. Yet, even if you can control it, right, even to a great extent, that does not mean that you have obtained its wisdom. Wisdom is experience. You can read till you get blue in the face. You can talk till your tongue fall out. But if you have no experience, you got nothing. That's wisdom. There are two important components needed to obtain spiritual enlightenment. What are they? Calm down. I got you. Relax. I got you. We almost there. Roll with me. I'm almost home. I got you. The attainment of the wisdom of the principles and the self-mastery over the use of them. Bam! If you want to be a set, you know what you got to do. I think we're going to wind up with set down here on the end. But yeah, the idea is to learn about every one of the aspects of your personality from stem to stern. That's self-mastery. And there's 10 of them in the Anuian philosophy, theology. Okay? What I am getting at is that, watch this, that the knowledge of it is cool, but the wisdom of the cosmic forces, of the principles, that comes first. That comes first. You have to study it, learn it, understand it, and what happens after that? And then the mastery, the self-mastery takes over it. And you now have the power to overcome any obstacle that you will be confronted with in life. So why? Because the knowing of the philosophy is the first stage, but this is important. Why? Because the outcome could be destructive if done incorrectly and went the reverse. Okay, meaning negative. My triangle is pointing up. If I was satanic, if I was going to do the other stuff, it would be pointing down, moving up. This is the male phallus. The female is going down. Moving on, another lesson, but that's the concept. Moving on. But it would be destructive done wrong. Now, how would it be if a person were to put to drive a car before what? They were taught how to drive. Meaning, if you haven't been taught, you can't use this idea and concepts. You have to learn them, study them, and manifest them for yourself. So this is the concept they tell you about driving a car. You got to be of a certain age. You got to pass the written and the practical tests. Again, many people can produce music. Again, I live my life based on music. Why? Because it was based on life. You can now. I don't have a clue about what they call music. I already know it's low frequency. I already know it's talk about giving. Oh, I just know I don't do it. Okay, I'm an old fogey. Tell me what you want. But you can produce music, but without wisdom. Music without wisdom, they produce music that is just what? Commercial. Okay, and even more. You ready? Ego, self-serving. I don't care about the big fancy house. Care less how many girls you got. All that nonsense. That's all ego. And y'all eat it up. Y'all just love them guys. Oh, so. Try to tell them something constructive and positive. They don't want to hear that. So I experienced that too. Moving on. But now to make themselves what? Rich. Right there. Ding, 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 ding. When you doing something egoistic, it's only for a goal that's going to serve you. That's not godly. That's self-serving. You know, if you're opposing God, that makes you that other guy. I'm just saying. It ain't what I say, it's what it is. And if that's what you're doing, that's who you are. Simple as that. Moving on. Don't get mad at me. Now, because they want to make themselves rich. Watch this. Even if it's what? Injurious to the listener. Gangster rap. How many people we know that got killed over gangster rap? Okay? A wise person would produce music that is what? Communicatively viable and yet elevated. Remember, ain't no stopping us now. McFadden and Whitehead. That was back 50, almost 50 years, and it still rings hollow to the day. Why? If it's good and true and right, it ain't going nowhere. Timeless, they call it. I don't know no rap song that's timeless. Moving on. Nope, the message. Okay. But no, Run DMC, we had some rappers back in that day. The music was informal. I listened to Jocko, can you rap? I'm the best in the world. You can bet on that. But I ain't here to put nobody down, but pound for pound, I'm the best around. That's talking slick. I'm bragging, but I can back it up. It ain't bragging if you can do it. I'm the best in the world, but I'm doing my thing. Let's go. Moving on. Let me wrap this up. Sorry. Again, see how the ego come in? He gonna get his. Okay, back out. The wise person has what? Mastered themselves through what? Wisdom, experience, and the usage of their gift from God. That I can tell you, once you tap into it, you cultivate it, means you nurture it, you work on it, you perfect it, you get it where it's going to yield you some results. I'm doing that with my right thing of philosophy. Trust me, I know how it's done. In this case, over the force of music. Don't let nothing steer you in the wrong way or bring you to a negative standpoint in yourself. Remember, everything, the angels and your spirit has wings for a reason, to ascend. Right, thinkers? May you all live to be 100 and me 100 miles a day. So I never know that right thinker like you passed away. That's the end of this lesson because I see the clock running. I got to go. But you know, I'll be back.